But you don't know what would happen when we're going to be back on the territory.
Thank you very much. You know, as Nico said, I'm actually a tech entrepreneur. I started my career as a computer programmer, and that's all I knew for the first half of my life, I mean, my professional life. And then I ended up becoming an entrepreneur almost by accident. I had built some technology at first Boston, which became very successful, and which led to the creation of a startup company. We grew the startup from $0 to $120 million revenue in 5 years, took it public. And then after public, it becomes really pathetic working for big companies. Ended up leaving, starting my own company. We grew it like a rocket ship, big success. And then the dot-com bubble burst, and the company got into trouble. I turned it around, and then I got into trouble. I had health problems. I had a heart attack. So then I said, okay, I've got to change gears now. If I continue as an entrepreneur, I'm going to have my second heart attack, and so I ended up becoming an academic eventually, and started researching globalization, started researching education, engineering education, started researching global strategies and competitiveness and entrepreneurship and immigration. And what I found was that I was making more of an impact as an academic than I was as an entrepreneur, and having a lot of fun. I also started writing for Business Week. I have my own Business Week column that I write quite frequently. And then I moved to California about 15, 16 months ago. And I was approached by TechCrunch to write for them. I had no idea what TechCrunch was when I moved there. You know. And when actually Sarah Lacey came to see me, I said, you know, she had come all the way to Berkeley to see me. I kept her waiting for half an hour, and I felt guilty. She said, Vivek, will you write a couple of articles? I felt so guilty for keeping her waiting. I said, sure, I will. And then I realized what a big deal TechCrunch is, that everyone seems to read it. Right? It has global reach, global influence, more so than Business Week. So I started writing weekly for TechCrunch. So what I'm able to do now is take my academic ideas and translate them into common language that everyone can understand. And if you read my TechCrunch articles, they're almost all controversial. I mean, I can't tell you any which I've written which hasn't stirred a lot of controversy and debate. The last one I wrote, which was yesterday, it was about Singularity University. That wasn't controversial, but it's still, you know, I mean, because I get flooded with emails. It's still got a lot of very positive feedback. But what I do basically is I use my writing to express my ideas. Now, since I have 3 universities on my resume, I figure that if I get fired from 1 or 2, I'll still have 1 left. So I can take the risk. So what I do basically is that I now have started traveling the world, meeting entrepreneurs globally. I learn, express my ideas, get feedback, and then I improve my ideas. And what I've realized along the way is that, you know, almost every region I've been to in the world, all the developed countries and a lot of the developing, emerging countries are trying to replicate Silicon Valley. The world has been spending billions of dollars, you know, tens of billions of dollars in trying to create innovation based on false theories, false premises. They focus on what are called clusters, on creating buildings, so you know, the theory is that if you have a good university and you build a science park next to it and you provide some venture capital, you'll get innovation. It sounds great on paper, but in effect it has never worked. There have been hundreds of attempts to recreate Silicon Valley. Every single one of them has failed.